When things get tough, we start to wonder about the meaning of it all, right? For me, it began when I was a little girl of 3. It was the first time that I became aware that I was an individual. And not to be dramatic, but far from being a cheerful child, I felt that life was unsatisfying in many ways. I was just so confused. What am I? And why am I here at all? But eventually, like most of us, I began to find ways to make existence more bearable. I learned to open my heart and realized that the very life that's frustrating me could also bring me joy. While having always loved visual arts since a tender age, it was not until when I was 14 that I encountered photography as an art form. I discovered early on that I had a natural inclination to take pleasure in seeing and how colors and shapes describe the world. We don't have to resort to fantasy to witness the extraordinary. All we have to do is slow down and look deeply. This was the insight that took me on a serious path in photography. It began as a hobby, but soon enough, it evolved into a way of life. Beauty, or more specifically, the perception of it, inspires me to create. The sense of sight has brought so much light to my life, and it has become a profound passion for me to want to share it with others too. Beyond the scope of art itself, but in the grander scheme of humanity. Photography has been a foundational part of my life, more than half of it, in such a way that I rarely question my dynamics with it anymore. But when I look back now, I realize that many of the things I've learned about life, I've learned through photography. Today, I would like to share with you 5 of those precious life lessons. First and foremost, curiosity. Photography encourages the spirit of inquiry. It brings forth the value of open-heartedness, an insatiable sense of wonder, which in Zen Buddhism is called Shoshin, or the beginner's mind. Similar to the awe and receptiveness of a child experiencing the world for the first time. This state of openness is the beginning of all learning and understanding, which is stamped in humility and which keeps all possibilities open. My practice is a careful image making that is based on a slowed down inner reality, hinting more towards beneath what meets the eye. I believe that if we attune ourselves to the mysteries beyond cognition, magic happens. Look at this roof up here. Look at this roof down here. Look at the straight line formed by the rain stain that flowed from the pipe, and how it rhymes with the straight line from the pole that's leaning on the wall. Look at how this scene is tinted with red, blue, and green. Look at how this is a miraculous arrangement of forms. It never fails to amaze me how a camera always describes everything it's pointed at so bluntly, yet it never tells anything about it. It reveals and conceals at the same time. Photography has the faculty of bringing together unrelated subjects, suggesting context and meaning, all because somebody puts a frame around it. What we put inside the rectangle and leave out of it grants us this gift of ambiguity, which is part of the uniqueness, power, and magic of photography as an art form and the camera as a medium. It's a very potent energy. It teaches us to relax with irony, paradox, and uncertainty. Photography, and often accompanied by writing, have become the language for my personal reflections. There is an intricate connection between them for me, a connection which I have built across various channels. I write visual arts commentaries, and I recently published a book that sets my photographs and prose or poetry side by side. Writing serves as a tool to clarify my own curiosity, at least to myself. Now, as our hearts leap in, look at this, look at that. What is this? Why is it like that? It brings us to the next virtue, which is honesty. Being honest with what sparks our interests takes great courage. A photograph is none other than a projection of the content of the mind, our hopes and dreams, fears and desperations, confusions and desires, amongst many others. However, we seem to have an innate fear of facing ourselves. Hence, what interests us is often in conflict with our ideals of ourselves and how the world should be. I see both the beauty and dark side of things, and I want to be very truthful about that. If we have a genuine interest in our subjects and ourselves, they are more likely to reveal their true nature back to us. What first drew me so much to the camera as a medium is its directness and immediacy. The way things are is always neutral, but perception is always personal. What are we looking at here? An ear, a closed eye, a partly open pair of lips. It's a self-portrait I made back in 2014 after a very painful breakup. I titled it Loud, as my young shattered heart cried in silence. My thoughts are so loud, they drown out all the noise. My effort is to conserve the soul of the subjects rather than their mere physicality. So I do my best to keep my work as accurate as possible to my real-life experience, not only visually, but all the more experientially. I'd like to think of my role as an artist photographer as a kind of vehicle of unadulterated truth, so that I can communicate it to others so they can benefit from it too. I believe that if we could stay true to the things that call us and want to express themselves through us, we would know precisely the work we need to do. With love in our hearts, there is beauty in the world. Love is the heart of creation. Without love, we will not be inspired to create. Before love, though, there is attention, a currency that has become rare in this fast-paced modern life. Yet again, sincere care and attention are what make things special. Now I would like to invite all of you here to go inward with me. What do you feel when you see these images? Whatever complexities your feelings contain, I am certain that the common thread is softness. Love makes space for our innate tenderness to manifest. We will not have the capacity to pick out moments like these without a hint of tenderness in our hearts. Another thing that blooms out of love is respect. Through the eyes of love and wonder, the sacredness of life unveils itself. We cease to judge the other and instead remember our shared predicament as living beings. Look at this man looking at a bird. His facial expression seems to grumpily say, "Oh, what are you doing? You're disturbing my quiet time." Yet, although his body language shows a bit of protectiveness. It also portrays vulnerability and childlike curiosity that is almost like a comedy. It's so innocent, as if to say, you're distracting, but you're kind of strange, and I want to know more about you. As love develops, the boundary of me versus you and us versus them begins to dissolve. We stop treating others as objects. Over time, our heart expands not only to human beings, but also to non-human species and all things. There is divinity in everything and everyone. Personally, I prefer to say make rather than take photographs. Because in my opinion, there is a clear distinction between the two. When you take, you just take, and everyone can do that. But when you make photographs, you give something. Your attention, your intelligence, your presence. You create a work of art, something that was not here before. Despite photography's often predatory language, hunting, shooting, framing, taking, we're not actually hunting or taking anything. We receive an image that is reflected from the subject. Every image is a gift. But we cannot receive anything until we let go of our narrow agenda, as until then, there is no readiness to accept. We don't even want to believe that we can receive. If you are open and generous, the pictures appear. If you are closed and demanding, all richness disappears. Shifting from the acquisitive to receptive frame of mind, gratitude has the chance to arise. Intentionally recognizing what is uplifting and savoring moments of appreciation is a natural and powerful way to stay hopeful and optimistic in times of hardship, an antidote to our negativity bias. Look at this woman with carefree ease and laughters strolled in such proximity to the palace guard, who, by the way, seems completely nonchalant with the occurrence. Again, the ambiguity and potential reading. I interpret that perhaps sometimes we're just too caught up in the very rules we create for ourselves. Our persona, how we relate to each other in society, the structures and hierarchies. This image instantly takes me back to what Saint-Exupéry said in The Little Prince. All grown-ups were once children, but only a few of them remember it. As a 14-year-old witnessing this, it was like a guidance for me on how to grow up. I felt grateful and sincerely hope that others can learn from this precious lesson too. So I consider making this photograph a gesture of generosity rather than taking. It's a celebration and honoring of a life. Memento mori, a Latin phrase that can be loosely translated as remembering death. Remembering impermanence can be a powerful force in photography, serving us both as an artist and a human being. Life is fleeting, so we should not waste it by not paying attention or wishing we were someplace else. Photography teaches us to be present with each passing moment with non-judgmental awareness, and to accept that nothing stays the same. Sights, sounds, thoughts, feelings, light, and space. What surrounds us are in process constantly. So are we. The truth of impermanence inevitably brings up the question of identity, which simplicity is often overlooked by our own inflictions. Each of us have a unique way of experiencing the world. When the world calls to you, and it stops you, and it makes you go, oh, I understand, I get it. that instinctive connection, that is your identity. As unfamiliar as it may sound, identity is not a solid, unchanging entity, but an ever-shifting, momentary awareness. The beautiful flicker of insight reveals itself only for a brief period until it disintegrates into the stream of things that comes next. It is then our duty to continuously rediscover our voice as an individual. There is a traditional Japanese idiom that says, monono aware, which loosely means beauty in transience. It holds the dual perception that as we bring to awareness the potential decay of something, we can cherish beauty more fully. Like a flower, every moment blooms briefly till it withers away, following the cycle of birth, growth, and death. Look at this woman here, plucking the petals of a rose, which resonate with her frail, wrinkled skin that speaks of growing old. Soon enough, everything we hold dear will be like these bare, naked stalks. I wrote a poem for this piece. It's called The Fate of the Rose. And its ending reads like this. 4 seasons is not my lifetime. Petal form vanishes, new form emerges. But the fate of the rose will also be mine. Remembering impermanence keeps us awake to beauty. It makes us better at seeing, loving, and living. At the very end of every journey, we always come back to the beginning, but with new eyes. The world of forms can be our ally if we let it. It can positively transform the inner landscape of our mind, of our being, which will then affect how the world speaks to us. So our relationship with the external world evolves. This interaction is a cyclical feedback loop, affecting each other perpetually. Photography has given me such a wealth of vision and insight, curiosity, honesty, love, generosity, and remembering impermanence. This is a real gift, outside in and inside out. The real gift of photography is in the cultivation of calmness, clarity, and boundless wonder as we engage with life, and the refinement of the power of observation and our attuned sensitivity to our surroundings, with or without a camera. These virtues right here train the quality of our attention and response to the world. And it helps us to hone a more holistic way of seeing, experiencing, and understanding. Photography may seem like pictures, but it is all the more a realm of ideas. Art is more than just pretty things. Its true value extends far beyond superficial beauty. At its best, art serves as a doorway to transformative spiritual journey, a medium to understand ourselves, others, and the world at large. Reality is what we make of it. We always have a choice on how to respond to life. Now, to end this talk, I will not leave you with an answer, but with a question. What kind of meaning do you intend to make out of this life? Thank you.